And so they think that you're somehow racist because you're wearing a shirt with a tiny little swastika on it. And it's so this is the same kind of thing. There's an ignorance because some asshole in a giant lifted Chevy truck drove down the street with the Gadsden flag hanging out the back of it, that all of a sudden that flag must now be racist, like we're going to assume the asshole driving the truck is.
But I'll tell you something. It got a little bit filthy at the end. Like
filthy,
yeah, and not in a bad way. Let me try and.
Okay, so like eating ass, filthy.
Yeah, like clean ass though.
So please, by all means, play with yourself. Use toys.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday, September 2nd, 7:36 in the evening. This is your narrative busting show, Whiskey Hell, the podcast. Fitz, it has been a long time since we actually recorded. Welcome back.
Yeah, right back at you. I have missed this. Last weekend was actually a nice hiatus. But it was weird. The whole day Friday, last Friday, I was like getting ready for the show, there's no show this week. So it's kind of a womp womp. But the gear up to this week has just it's just been that much more I don't know, boner inducing. I don't know. Because I have a hard on for this show. I know we have some really valuable and valued listeners who also love this show, but I honestly don't know if anyone loves this show more than we do. I love doing it.
It's very, very possible. It's very, very possible. But we have some guests in chat tonight.
We do.
Elle is here, and the whole Gray's Tap Room podcast is listening in today. You got Tabby, Mike, Gunner. I think the dogs are there. They're dancing around a fire. They got some weird stuff going. I love it. But thank you all of you guys for showing tonight.
Yeah, no, it's rad. We love having you guys here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be witnessing, as the show goes on, some sort of Wiccan ceremony or some sort of Celtic, around the fire, a dragon's going to come out, something cool. I just know it. Knowing those two, knowing that family, something rad's going to happen here. So
if you were going to dance around a fire and you were going to bring forth a fantastic beast, what would it be?
Oh, I mean, a dragon. It would have to be a dragon.
Do you go for a dragon?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the world right now needs more dragons. I mean, that's when I think things really started to go to shit, was when the dragons went away. That's personally, that's where I think we fell off the wagon. What about you? What are you bringing forth? What are you calling?
I want 5 sexual nymphs.
Ooh, good one. Like elemental nymphs, like the fire, water, earth, or they're just succubi. Okay, all right.
Yeah. We'll go for elementals, and they're just here to take advantage of me. That's all I want. If that's okay.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I don't. You know what? That's a story. Did we put that on the doc? We'll have to talk about it. The guy that the Russian guy that went in and tried to rob the salon, and Olga, as penance, Olga, instead of turning him in, she what did she do? She tied him up, gave him a bunch of Viagra, and then used him as a sex slave for 3 days.
It was 3 days of Viagra. Every time
Yeah.
he couldn't get it up anymore, more Viagra went in, and she just used him.
Oh God, that just sounds like the best punishment ever.
Well,
Because
it
Olga,
brings,
they show a picture of her, and Olga is not hard on the eyes.
no, she wasn't. It brings a whole new meaning to breaking and entering. So,
Oh, hey, oh, good one.
what are you drinking?
Okay, I am so beyond excited. I actually did pour my beer already. You didn't catch me unpoured tonight. And as I'm pouring this thing, well, let's get into what it is first. So this is from I believe the brewery is Boss Rambler. That's the
Okay.
name of the brewery.
All right.
A new one on me. I've never heard of this brewery before, but they are from Oceanside, and this one is called Ocean Stroll. And it is in collaboration. Actually, no, well, so it's in collaboration with Horace Ales and Sparrow Bakery. Now, apparently, Sparrow Bakery makes these things called ocean rolls. And
Okay.
it's supposed to be this old world recipe. They kind of look like cinnamon rolls, but instead of cinnamon, they use vanilla and cardamom. And I know all the ladies out there just got very excited because
Say
we
it
have another
again.
cardamom episode. And so this one is a double pastry imperial stout featuring the Sparrow Bakery ocean rolls. So this is an insanely decadent imperial stout, the brainchild of Kyle from Horace and Matt from Boss, brewed with Sparrow's irresistible ocean rolls, then conditioned on Mexican vanilla beans and, wait for it, cardamom. It is the perfect combo all the way around. So here's the deal, man. I'm pouring this thing as we were listening to the Beastie Boys on our walk up.
Okay.
All I can smell is the cardamom. I mean, holy crap. It's so strong in this beer. So here we go. I'm very excited to taste this beer. I'm very excited.
And these guys were from Bend, right?
No, Oceanside, California. Oh my God. Oh, whoa. Okay. Mouthgasm. There it is. I do not have to do anything else the rest of the weekend because it's clean up on aisle 3 here. Wow. Okay. Heavy, heavy, heavy. This is a 15.5 percenter. Zero booze. Heavy on the cardamom. Vanilla is there. Stout is there. And then it just goes away, which is scary for a 15.5 percenter.
That's frightening. I mean,
It is. The only thing keeping me from chugging this right now because it's so delicious is the bright, I will call it bright taste of cardamom. I mean it's enough where you want to go, whoa, this needs to be savored. This can't be guzzled. But yeah, I mean literally zero booze in this at all. Crazy beer. Oh my God.
That's really neat. What color does it pour?
Oh, jet black. It's
No
motor
kidding.
oil. Yeah.
Oh, I've got
It's
a picture of it here now.
There you go. Yep, that's it.
That's neat.
Jet black
Those
with
are
that. Yeah, just a little tan rim on there. Just like my beers, like I like my women. Little tan rim. I this one's going in my current 2023 top 5.
all right.
I can tell you right now, it is just phenomenal, unreal.
That's rad. Okay.
Yeah. So
Very,
what
very cool.
what do you got over there?
Okay, so I was actually on. I actually drove up to Flagstaff with some buddies, our buddy Brad,
Yep.
Brad, John, and the gang here. After our fantasy football draft this morning, we normally will go up here to actually draft, but one of our buddies couldn't get away. I don't know if you've ever met him, Justin, but I know that's totally irrelevant for everybody else out there, but he couldn't get away, so we wanted to hang out with him and draft with him. So we did that in Chandler. Then we drove up here. I'd never driven the back way to get here, going through Payson.
Up
then
87?
Right, and then by Lake Mary. So we went ahead and did
Yep.
that. Stopped at That Brewing, and it's actually called That Brewing, THAT. I was not impressed by them at all. So
No, the actual physical location is not something to be proud of.
no, and the lack of teeth was another story. But anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, so one of the places I never get to go is Wanderlust Brewing. I've missed it the last few times up here. So this is like a Wanderlust weekend. Okay, so I've got the fridge is loaded with Wanderlust. I've got some dark beers, which I'll get to a little bit later. But the first beer that I'm starting off with is probably the second time that we've had a Red Flanders on here.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely doing things a little bit different. Wanderlust is one of those places that does not the extreme beers, right? The old world beers very well.
Yeah.
So what I've got here is De La Terre 2.0. This is a beer that is, this is the second release of a blended aged sour. It was created from 3 different vintages ranging in ages from 2 to 6 years old. These carefully selected and blended barrels mingle to produce flavors reminiscent of cherries, plums, and black currants with a sharp tartness that lingers for a refreshing, complex, and unique beer. So Red Flanders are typically very tart.
Yeah.
They'll make you pucker, and this one is a 7.9%.
Boy, we could not be on like further away from each other on styles of beers tonight, which is awesome.
Yep.
Fans are getting the full gamut here tonight.
They totally are. Sorry, so I'm going to go ahead and dig into this. It's a red, very light looking beer, and it smells sour.
Yeah. Yeah, I can smell it from here, actually.
Oh. Oh, my whole mouth just tightens up. But it's mouth-watering. You really want more of it. It is boozy. You get the black currants. You get a lot of cherry. There's a lot of cherry there. And you get a very dry aftertaste that goes with it, even though you're still getting a very mouth-watering effect. So I'm really happy with that. That's a really great way to start off the show.
That's fun. I think my favorite sours are the tart cherry sours. I don't know why. I know you remember Marie Callender's, and did we talk about this on the show? But like my favorite pie of all time was their sour cream cherry pie.
We did discuss it a little bit, but
yeah,
go into it because that was a pretty
well. No, they
that was a
don't.
good story.
They don't make it anymore. But it was exactly what you think it is. I mean, it's like the super shitty canned cherries that they put in that like Jello / jelly stuff, and then the cherries come out, and it's that beautiful burgundy color, and then they mix it with sour cream, and then they put it in a pie crust, and they stick it in the oven and let it cook for a while, and it's divine. But there was a tartness to the richness of that pie that I miss. Anyway, so any kind of sour cherry tart always brings me back to the sour cream cherry pie. So,
well, it definitely has that. It definitely does have a very tart. There's no sweetness to this at all. But it's a very crushable beer too. I'm gonna have to go slowly on this one.
Yeah,
I really am.
Yeah, I mean, same. I mean, like I said, I could definitely just kill my beer, except that it gives you pause. You just go, wait a minute, this thing needs to be savored here.
All right. So Joe, see you in chat, man. Welcome. Let's so just kind of I want to get into something that I'm going to be producing for this week, a little bit of our housekeeping. I went to I had a little craft beer experience while I was in Boston last week. Really excited. Went to a place called the Tip Tap Room.
Okay.
So
just the tip.
Just the tip, yes.
Okay.
And
I like it.
They were, yeah. It was pretty impressive. But they had an off list that you had to read the fine print, and you could ask to see Mike's list.
Oh,
it was all the stuff
okay.
they keep in the cellar. Fitz, I'll be putting up the pictures from the menu or the beer list. Well, the menu, the beer list. I'll make sure that all that gets posted. But this was stuff that you can't find anyplace else. It was absolutely wonderful. So if anybody makes it to Boston, you guys got to go to the Tip Tap Room. It was absolutely fantastic. They had Cantillon there.
Dude, I'm looking at plane tickets right now. That's I fucking love that kind of stuff where you have to know the right words, the right spells to cast before they'll show you their real good shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. That's so cool.
Well, and I've never had somebody come out and do the whole wine thing. So he had a white cloth over his arm. He brought it out in wine glasses and he poured it in front of us. There is even a discrepancy between one of the beers that I had, which was, oh my God, who was it? Jester King. And, it was a sour, because that's really all they had in this stash. Right. But he's like, you know what? I've got a problem with this beer because I don't know if it's the same as what I've already got on the list already. And what he had in the menu was a blackberry. No, I'm sorry, it was a Marionberry. And the one that was on the beer list that was for everybody was a blackberry sour. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Just go ahead and pour it. We're good to go. Don't even worry about it. He's like, well,
yeah, I mean, at that point,
it's a $90 bottle of beer, and he took off like $30 bucks of it.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I love you. I just want to touch you. That's all I want.
Yeah.
But that was absolutely awesome. Absolutely
yeah,
awesome.
we didn't get a chance to get too much into your trip to Boston while you were there, because I know you had some family business to take care of there, and I'm not saying you need to discuss it for the show, but so the focus is more on that. I was kind of dying to ask, like, what kind of nightlife you partook in. Like, what did you find any cool pubs or anything like that? It sounds like you did. So that's fucking cool, dude. I have already written it down. I mean, how do you forget a name like that? But
it's
definitely something check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely something we got to do. And you guys, if you're out there, go to Boston. Go knock around Boston. I mean, every place you go is old. It's ancient. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We went to Bell in Hand, the Point, the Green Dragon. We hit all of those.
Well, and some of those are like, that's where our founding fathers were having a pint and discussing complete anarchy.
Oh,
that's where they made their plans. So some of those bars are been around since then, since the 1700s.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that was interesting. They have a huge Sam Adams tasting room.
Oh, cool.
They do some brewing there. They've got, it's a huge meeting area. It's really massive. It puts a lot of our stuff to shame. In fact, I couldn't tell you a tasting room that even comes in it. There's nothing that compares to the size of this thing. And I could not have been more unimpressed by it. And
really?
I don't know if this was because I'm not a real Sam Adams guy, but I tried the beers. I had a couple of them. The beers just were uneventful. One was a golden brown, a coffee golden brown, which was weird, which doesn't make any sense, honestly, but that's what it was. And then they had some other ones that just didn't work. It just didn't work. But You get a whole bunch of nightlife there. You got a ton of kids who are in there, having their Sam Adams, which is cool. Do what you want to do. That's awesome. But yeah, I just they didn't do anything for me at all.
Well, I mean, I will say, for a long time, Sam Adams was one of those like big breweries that, you can get those guys anywhere in the country pretty much. And they did, I mean, their cherry wheat was one of my gateway beers. I mean, that was
Yep.
that and Guinness were like my gateway beers into craft beer. Because I had just never had anything like that. It was Bud Light pretty much exclusively and hard alcohol. And then I had a cherry wheat and I'm like, whoa, you can get cherry in a beer? Like, I want more.
That's different.
And so, yeah. So, I mean, I will give them that. I have not had a Sam Adams in many years. So I don't know. I can't vouch for the quality anymore, but I do know that they put out a solid product for what it is. Like you said, it's sort of middle of the road. They're not very daring. They're not eventful, but they're solid. I would just say that at least from what I remember.
So we've got a couple of polls that we want to get to. We want to get to that for sure. One, a very interesting one that we ran last week. I do want to give a shout out. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, and we have a Jefe sighting coming up soon too. So this is good timing.
Yep. Big shout out. I was actually able to talk about MASH, the TV show, last night with Tabby and Mike at the Gray's Tap Room. So you guys got to check out the next show. Fitz, did you ever watch MASH?
Yeah, I did.
Did you know that Tabby and Mike picked you to be Hawkeye?
Yeah, I did know that. I saw that. That was which I'm honored. I'm honored. I'm very aware of the show. I watched the show. It was always on. My mom and I had a little tiny black and white. I think it was like a 13-inch black and white TV that I basically grew up on. That sometimes would get reception, sometimes not. I grew up on that, and then the old Batman and the old Star Trek. I mean, those were the three kind of staples. And as what was I, 6 or 7? When the last episode came out,
Right. Yep.
when I saw the last episode of MASH, it completely ruined the entire series for me. And I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the last episode, it was some of the most daring TV that's ever aired, period.
Right.
And it actually makes its way into a lot of ethics and philosophy classes because of that last episode. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. If you know, but if you don't know, but it completely ruined the whole series. I cried for 2 weeks after that.
It was a tearjerker. It truly was.
It was awful. And so anytime anyone brings up MASH, I'm like, oh, like all I think about is that last episode. But it was an amazing television show, and what an amazing honor to be picked as Hawkeye, because he was by far my favorite character on the show. Yeah. So that means a lot to me.
Well, I'll tell you something. If anybody out there has Hulu, you can watch the whole series, 11 years of it.
Yes, yeah.
But when you do, make sure that you download the next episode of the Gray's Tap Room, because we had a great conversation about the show, what the show meant, all the characters, and then we rebooted it. So Tabby and Mike squared off rebooting who they would use in modern day characters. Hell of a fun time. Make sure you listen to it, guys. Just an absolute blast. Absolute blast. All right. So we have 2 polls that ran. One last week, which was about, are we going to get into a lockdown again because of COVID? And the second was about blockades. Which one do you want to go for first?
Let's let's do the blockades one, because I just thought, because we had a happening this week with was he a Nevada? He was a Nevada Ranger, and these morons
reservation Ranger.
Yeah, well, okay, so even better. And these morons were blocking the road to was it Coachella or Burning Man?
It was Burning Man, yep.
Which we have a follow-up story for later, because Burning Man is an absolute humanitarian disaster right now unfolding in front of our eyes. But these people were trying to block Burning Man, and he just drove his truck right through it. So our poll was sort of based off of the video. So go ahead.
So the whole idea is, and we've seen this a number of times, protests that turn into, we're just going to go ahead and take the common person and we're going to inconvenience the fuck out of them. We're not trying to make a statement to the bigwigs. We're not trying to make a statement to corporate America. We're going to go ahead and inconvenience people, everyday people. We're just going to piss people off to piss people off. It's a bad look. It's absolutely awful. But they just go ahead and they keep doing this kind of stuff. Well, people are starting to get sick of this shit. Jefe's here. Welcome, Jefe.
We do have a Jefe.
We're just now getting to. Hey, Jefe, we're just now getting to the blockade. So we can't wait to hear your opinion on whether you should drive through blockades or not. But in this case, like you were saying, they're trying to block folks. This was a mile-long roadblock, but they're blocking everybody from being able to get to Burning Man because they want to abolish capitalism. Well, this is happening all over the world. We've seen it in Germany. We've seen it in Italy. We've seen it in France. It's happening all over the place. The question that we wanted to pose was, and I'll pose the same question to you guys, is should it be legal for drivers to drive through blockades on roadways caused by various groups protesting? Now, our listeners, okay, so we had 253 votes for this, okay?
Yeah, it was a good showing, actually.
Yeah, without a doubt, 84.2% of our folks felt that, yes, you should be able to go ahead and drive through a blockade. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily run somebody over and kill them, but you should be able to go ahead and you're going to break your Red Rover, I'm driving my truck over you. That's pretty much what I got from there.
Yeah, we're not advocating for killing anyone or even slightly maiming them, but clearly people are fed up with this shit. Clearly, the everyday folks. I mean, there was a story, I think it was in, I don't remember which country now. I'm not even going to claim to remember, but the guy got out because his wife was pregnant. He was trying to drive her to the hospital. She was in labor. And these fucking fuckholes blocked the road. So he got out and he just started picking people up and chucking them. I mean, he was a pretty big guy. And I mean, he was hurling people. I mean, you could tell he had the adrenaline dump. He was pissed. This is my wife. This is my kid. Get the fuck out of my way. And he was just throwing people around and then drove through what was left of the blockade. It was pretty amazing. Like you could really get into some life-threatening situations here with this shit. It's not funny. Absolutely. It's not making a point at that point. All you're making a point is that you're a dickhead.
Jefe, what are your thoughts on it?
I thought that video was funny. Did that guy get in trouble?
Yeah, I did hear that he got what was the verbiage? There was an investigation going on because he pulled his weapon.
He was under review for pulling his weapon. Under review,
that's what it was. Yes, he pulled his weapon. Which, I mean, I can actually kind of understand that because it wasn't a life-threatening situation. Nobody else had a weapon out. I don't want a cop drawing his weapon just to scare me like that. I don't want that. If I'm holding a machete, absolutely draw your weapon because I probably deserve to be put down. But if I'm just sitting in the middle of a road, I mean, anything can happen. Weapon discharges happen all the time. Ask any gun range owner and they'll tell you that weapon discharges happen randomly. So don't pull your weapon out unless you intend to use it. And he wasn't intending to use it. He was just being a dick.
Yeah.
Jefe, what are your thoughts on it?
He might have dealt with them before. He might have dealt with something similar where he goes up peacefully and they lay down on the road or some shit like that. So he sees this mile-long backup and he's the closer he gets to the actual roadblock, the more pissed he's getting. And
yeah,
he got out. And he just was, you guys are fucking done.
Yep. No, I don't blame him at all for his behavior. I just know that. I mean, again, if you're gonna pull your weapon out at me, that's like life or death shit right now. And all I was doing was sitting in the middle of the road. Although I bet none of those people ever do that again.
Yeah.
I bet he scared them straight.
I I just don't know what's being accomplished by any of these protests. You're not doing anything other than making yourself look like an idiot.
Yeah, no, I mean all of them. I mean that one about a month ago where they super glued their hands to the cement.
Yeah, I want
And
an update.
That was
I want to know because they all had to go to surgery. They had to get that shit surgically removed, and I hope it hurt. I hope it hurt.
There was a guy in the comments that said they're going to lose those hands because that shit just does not. You can't undo that. He said they're going to get amputated.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a hand surgeon. I don't know. That's just. I'll tell you what. One thing I will give these people is they truly believe in what they're doing. I mean, they're willing to give their lives for it in some situations. And the problem is they're dead wrong about all of it. And you just think, man, you're just you've drank so much of the Kool-Aid that you're gonna die now.
And who's putting them up to it?
Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, are these like cults? Where you gotta, buy the black Nike sneakers because UFOs are gonna come down and take us? Or are they getting paid? I don't know. I think probably a little bit of both happening. I think you have some cultists out there, some actual cults where they just like they eat, sleep, drink this shit. And then there's other people out there that are like, hey, look, if you give me a cool, grand, I'll go sit in the middle of the fucking street for you.
Well, and going forward too, I mean, they're gonna have these young people come out and be like, what's this all about? And they say, well, this is what it's about. If you don't believe me, Google it. And they're gonna go to Google, and they're gonna see everything that the government wants them to see, right?
Now, that's true because we have actual, we have Google coming out and saying yes, no, there's actual filters on anything COVID related, on anything climate change related. If we don't approve of it, it doesn't go out.
So this kind of shit's just going to get more and common, the protesting and all that.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. I think you're right. And that makes me sad. It also makes me want to club somebody over the head.
So speaking of government, the next question, this was the one that was posed back on August 21st. Will we see another COVID lockdown? The choices were not through the end of 2024, before 2023 ends, January 2024 through June 2024, or July 2024 through December 2024. Pretty interesting. 41%, 797 votes. One of our top polls.
Yep.
41% voted for yes before 2023 ends. Then we saw 24%, which was not through the end of 2024. And then we had it was pretty even as far as when in 2024 we're going to see some. So thought that was pretty interesting since we've been getting so much publicity from the COVID business lately.
Yeah, I mean, you got 76% of people out there think we're going to see lockdowns by the end of next year. 76% of us. And I mean, none of us is as stupid as all of us, right? And so, I mean, if you really stop and think, I mean, there was that whole experiment that they well, I say they, God, I hate it when I start talking like that, but there was an experiment done. It was like back in the early 1900s, but they were doing a experiment to see who was more correct. Individuals with some knowledge of the subject matter, or just sort of, polling the masses and then taking the average. Who was more accurate, the individual that was an expert or the average of everybody? And how they did that was they had some cattle at a county fair, and they said, guess the cattle's weight. And whoever gets the closest gets $300 or whatever. It's like some big amount of money for back then. And they had these farmers come in who were expert cattle people, and they had them guess, and they had these other people who were butchers, they had them come and guess, and then they just opened it up to the. And so people guessed everything from the ridiculously, it only weighs 200 pounds to, it's 4 tons. But if you took the aggregate of all of that, you took the exact mean, the middle, as a whole, all of us were within like 2 pounds of the actual weight of this cattle. Even the experts didn't get that close. They were closer than the general idiot, but when you put all of the general idiots together, we were the closest. And so when you see a poll like this where 76% of us think that we're probably going to have a lockdown by the end of next year, you gotta put some credence in that. I think we all kind of can smell the winds changing again. We can all sort of see where this is going. I mean, we've already heard what Corinne Jean-Pierre, she came out and said, yes, likely the administration will be encouraging a vaccine update. So what does that mean? Of course it means, here we go.
Jefe, have you heard anything at work regarding any of this?
No. A couple people have actually come down with COVID.
Yeah.
But nothing about
nobody's
masks.
freaking out.
No, not yet. Not yet.
We've seen some people come down with it where I work, and there has not been, nobody's flinched yet. So I'm interested in seeing how this works out.
I'm seeing more masks by customers already.
Really?
Yeah. I'm definitely seeing more masks around here in Union. And in fact, I went out for my beers. We went to the favorite store. And right when we walked in, like the first 3 people I saw all had masks on. That didn't carry throughout the entire store, but it was like, we walked in and I was like, shit, are we supposed to be wearing masks right now? Like what? Did I miss the memo? But yeah, I'm definitely seeing more of that. And and to go back to your point, McShane, I think, and from what Jefe said, people are getting COVID, but we've been through this before. I mean, it's just like, it's like a flu. It's like a bad flu. You get sick and then you're okay. Unless you're, of course, in one of those marginal categories of you're either very old or you have some sort of respiratory disease or you're obese or, all of the above, then yeah, you're in danger and you should probably mask up and not leave your house. But the rest of us, we're probably just going to carry the fuck on and not worry about it.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I'm not going to be wearing one. And the sentiment online is there's going to be zero compliance from what I'm seeing as far as my timeline. I don't know what what our listeners are seeing on theirs because everybody's got a different feed, but I know on my timeline folks are not going to be compliant. And there's been stuff on TikTok. They're like, no, we're actually going to walk in, and if you want to go ahead and be a pain in the ass about it, well, I'm just going to go ahead and educate you. And here's the literature that says your mask doesn't work. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be. If anything like that does happen, there's going to be a lot of confrontation.
I think so too, and I'm actually ready to get in people's faces about it. I mean, I'm, clearly, I'm not going to ask for things to get physical, but if they do, I'm not afraid of that either. But even the CDC this week, they goofed up. They came out and they said that the masks, the cloth masks that you're wearing, won't help you with the smoke from the fires. It won't help with the smoke. So when you go and do your research, and particles from the smoke are like 2,500 nanometers wide. Well, how wide is a COVID virus? It's 50 to 500 nanometers wide. And so if it doesn't work on smoke, it ain't going to work on the fucking virus that's like 10 times smaller. And that's an official CDC report that came out this week, that it doesn't work against smoke, which means it's not going to work against the virus. And I'm fully willing to show that graphic to anybody who wants me to wear a mask.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And
yeah.
I know Elle, I know she works with kids too. And, her sentiment was, I hope it's true fits. I can't handle another lockdown. And our kids, God for our kids, don't close schools again.
Yeah,
So
I know. We're already seeing kids. who are 2 and 3 years behind. We're going to get into this later. I know we want to kind of tackle, it's beginning of the school year. We kind of want to tackle education in schools, but I will tell you right now that schools are not equipped to handle children coming in 2 and 3 years behind. They're just not. And
no,
I mean,
and nor do they care.
Well, no, I mean, they just want butts back in seats. And on top of it, they want the school safe so they can lock it down in case there's a shooter. So they're spending all their money on, fortifying these schools that are going to quickly become basically prisons. Instead of like actually worrying about these kids that are 2 and 3 years behind, you can talk about special ed, which I'm not going to get on that soapbox tonight. I promise you all I won't. But special ed was never intended for that, and it will fail terribly at that. So schools are not ready for that; they're not equipped for it, and yet here we go again. And it's like I'm with you, El. I really fear for our kids. So I'm sort of supervising a preschool now. My new gig is I'm the head of. We're going to have 6 preschool programs, and these kids, the 3 to 5 year olds, all they've known is COVID time, pandemic time. And so we're seeing behaviors, the parents weren't equipped. Everybody was locked in the house when these kids were born. And, it's a very different landscape now working with children. And so, but if they do it again, God damn, then at that point, it's intentional. They're just trying to ruin future generations, I guess. I don't know.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the education piece. Can we go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I think we lost Jefe. Jefe's gone.
Yeah, Jefe had to go. But, I know we wanted to get into the education piece just because, God, we've got a Marxist in Colorado, and this guy he hates whites. Period. That's his thing. He wants. Yeah, it's just insane. But we also have Portland that wants to get rid of zeros and pretty much anything that's scored.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
are we just why would we lower the bar like that?
Because everybody gets a ribbon, McShane. Everybody gets a ribbon for showing up and participating.
Is that what it is? Is this all the participation trophy parents that we grew up with that all got participation trophies for coming in last place?
I think that's part of it. I think it's part of it, and I also think it's this whole DEI movement. Diversity, equity, inclusion. You talk about those 3 words, and we can break them down and define them all we want, but we all have an idea of what they mean. And then you add in, these ridiculous things that were coming out a couple years ago about how, math is racist. It's inherently racist, and how the way we teach English is inherently racist, which of course, because it's one language. And either you get on board with it or you don't. Like if I move to France, I'm going to have to learn French. That's just a fact. If I move down to Costa Rica, I'm going to have to learn Spanish, and I'm not going to fucking complain about it or get my DEI coordinator to come in and say, you need to change all of your shit because he doesn't know Spanish. That's not how it works. But we've gotten to the point now where everybody is a victim. Nobody gets to take responsibility for their actions or what they do in the future or might do in the future. So we all have to now bend around and change society for these outliers who are either unwilling or unable to learn in school. And as you know, that's my whole career has been dedicated towards helping people get past those barriers and actually be able to learn and actually level the playing field. But no one wants to talk about that. They want to talk about how we can change the education system for the few and damn the many. Fuck the many. And it's an upside down pyramid, and it's only going to sink. This boat will not float.
we're already losing engineers. A lot of our developers are outsourced to India. We really don't have all the places that we're trying to go, all the technical things that we need to be able to keep up with. Chip making, for instance, we already can't compete. And then we're willing to go ahead and do this. It's sick. Now in chat, Aaron, thanks for joining us, man. This is a result of having people who can't cope with having kids. It's not like algebra. A negative times a negative doesn't yield a positive. This is weakness compounding.
Yeah, it really is. Well said.
You get a participation trophy. Everyone gets a trophy. Don't acknowledge those who are kicking ass at something because others' feelings will be hurt. I see this at work. We've got to acknowledge everybody. We've got to make sure that everybody feels good about what they're doing. Otherwise, that person's going to get butthurt. Yep. And rather than them, setting the bar and being better and excelling, we're just going to go ahead and dumb stuff down. I don't even know if I told you this once. I had a manager. I've had a lot of shitty managers. So if we ever go off on a leadership night, I'll fucking rail for days. But I actually had a manager once tell me that if I wanted to be effective, I needed to dumb down what I'm saying. I needed to be less philosophical. I needed to be less engaging. I needed to make sure that I wasn't trying to come off that I understood what I was talking about. Those were her comments. And she was trying to be nice. I mean, this was legitimately career advice that I was given. Like,
this was constructive criticism.
This was my what we call it a growth moment. Okay.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we guys, anybody who's listening, don't do this. Don't do this. Your kids should not just make it. They need to excel. You need to prop them up and make sure that they have everything they can do to be better. This is not the way to go. And I don't know why anybody would want to live in Portland with this, especially, let alone raise kids there.
No, you got Seattle that, is taking kids away from parents if they, won't do the sex change thing. And now you have Portland saying that there's not going to be basically anybody who fails. Everybody who shows up to school, hell, you probably don't even have to show up to school. You just have to clock in on your fucking Zoom meeting and you're going to pass. The problem is that life doesn't work that way. If you're out on the street and you get in a street fight, nobody gives a shit about DEI. They don't care about your race. They don't care about what sex you are, what gender you are, what you identify as. They don't care about your fucking pronouns. They're going to beat your ass and take what you have, unless you can be better than them. I mean, there has to be. Here's the thing: opportunity must be equal for everyone. But once everybody has the opportunity to show who they are, from there on out, it's up to them. Period. Not everybody can be fucking Usain Bolt. I mean, what are we going to make him start 50 yards back just so it's fair to everybody? Come on. Ridiculous.
And we need people to be pushing themselves to be intelligent, to know, to understand things, to be the next Einstein.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what else? You know what we don't need? We don't need this. Let's go to this.
Yeah, let's.
Thank you. Do they know what the Gadsden flag is? That it's a historical flag?
So the reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed, is due to its origins with slavery and slave trade. That is what was.
Idiot.
That's the reasoning behind why we do not want it displayed.
The Gadsden flag.
The "Don't Tread on Me."
Okay. Which is the Gadsden flag.
Okay. I can have you speak to Jeff Yoakum again. Okay. And then he can refer you to our person at the district.
Okay.
Because, like I said, we're following district policy is what we're doing. So the last thing I want is him out of class.
Yeah, I know.
That's all
He
the last
takes
thing I
his
want.
classes seriously.
Yes.
He studies. He wants to get straight A's. He did that. He made honor roll when he was here before.
Yep.
He intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So
I understand that.
yeah, and I mean, we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs. And I mean, you're going over the revolution for 7th grade. I mean, the founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
Okay, like I said,
Good for you,
we're
Mom.
upholding a policy that was provided to us, which we have to uphold.
Okay, can you show me where the policy?
Anytime that you go into a conversation with a school administrator, have your phone on, take some kind of camera, and make sure it's running.
Yep. Amen.
Jaden
Amen.
Rodriguez,
Yep.
12-year-old Jaden Rodriguez from Vanguard Schools, a Vanguard School student, was ordered to remove the Gadsden flag pin from his backpack. The "Don't Tread on Me" symbol. It's flag.
Yeah. It's a snake. It's the one with the yellow background and the black snake. It's very simple. Sometimes it was split up into 13 pieces to represent the 13 colonies. But the message is, don't tread on me. The symbology there is, if you step on a snake, he's going to bite you. You tread on a snake and you're going to know he's there. And so it's this coiled up snake, which represented the United States at the time, the United
In the
colonies,
Revolutionary
sorry.
War. Yeah,
And the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
And not slavery. I mean, the part of this that's so sad is that you have this educator who's coming in. I'm assuming she's the principal. I don't know, some administrator, some stooge, that doesn't know what she's talking about, comes in and tries to say, yeah, we're citing district policy because it goes back to slavery. And the problem with that statement is that it doesn't. That's a completely false statement. It has nothing to do with slavery or advocating for slavery or for advocating for anyone to ever be enslaved again. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's an anti-oppression flag. It's an anti-oppression symbol. Don't walk on me. Don't hold me down. I will fucking bite you. And yet this idiot just says that it's against district policy. I would like to know. I don't have an update on what's happening with this. I mean, obviously the parents are suing. If they don't, they're morons. I know they're suing. And for those of you playing along at home, this kid is dressed like he's walking in like business casual. He's going into a fucking business meeting. He's got slacks. He's got a button up, really nice blue button up.
He looks like the Republicans of the month. Yeah,
tucked in. Yeah, his hair's perfectly coiffed. He's got product in it. He took his time to come to school and show himself and present himself to the task of learning. He also has a backpack that has the Gadsden flag on it, a patch. And so, I mean, as an educator, you're going to knock this kid down for doing all the right things because you think that might be advocating for slavery? Morons. My God. We are literally, this country is being led by beetle-headed people, by small-brained, tiny people.
This is an educator. But here's the thing. Here's one of my issues with this. We have spent, keeping in mind that patch, okay, that flag. If you wanted to, I could have that flag. There's people in my neighborhood that have that flag.
Yep.
Anybody can have that flag. It doesn't matter what race you are. The symbol is truly, don't tread on me.
Yeah.
Let me be. Leave my rights alone. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Anybody can walk around with it. If there's nothing racist about it. But we have spent so much time in this country trying to erase history and trying to pervert history and make it something that just it isn't. That's where this idiot is coming from. Somebody had to have said, hey, that Gadsden flag is a bad flag. You need to make sure that you never let anybody use that, ever. It's racist. No, it's not. And if people opened their ears and understood that people have that flag because they want to be left alone. They're telling you, this is my warning sign. Leave me the fuck alone. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, like Aaron said in chat, the school district came out backing him. The governor also backed him. It should have never come to that.
No. I mean, it's a perfect case of, it's a mass ignorance is what it is. It's like, when people see
weaponizing. It's weaponized though.
Yeah, but it starts with ignorance. It's like when people see, so in the martial art that I teach, in our symbology, one of the symbols we have is the old Buddhist swastika. It's actually pronounced swastika with a V, and it's going the right direction. But people instantly think that you're somehow a white supremacist because that's on there, and it's like, no, that's a symbol in Buddhism that means the heavens. It literally means 10,000 things. It means like all the stars and all the heavens. And Hitler completely bastardized it, took it and made it his own, flipped it around. It's going the wrong direction, and made it a symbol for the Nazi party. But now people see it and they can't recognize that it's not going the wrong way. And so they think that you're somehow racist because you're wearing a shirt with a tiny little swastika on it. And it's so this is the same kind of thing. There's an ignorance because some asshole in a giant lifted Chevy truck drove down the street with the Gadsden flag hanging out the back of it, that all of a sudden that flag must now be racist, like we're going to assume the asshole driving the truck is. And that's what I mean. It's like an ignorance. It's a flat out ignorance. And then that ignorance gets weaponized. It's like the symbol becomes the thing, even though the symbol has nothing to do with the thing. And so it's happened throughout history, and it will continue to happen because people are lazy. They won't take the time to go and research and be like, I wonder where Hitler got that symbol originally. I wonder what the don't tread on me flag really means. They're lazy. They won't go do the research. And it's infuriating because what happens is this fucking kid gets made a poster child for what? He's missed how much school now? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, actually. It's past being a dick.
That's one of the reasons why I love doing this show. And I'm not just sitting here pimping it, but in our listeners too. We hear it time and time and time again, whether it's Aaron or Elle or Beard of Liberty, Calliope, who chimes in occasionally. Joe, you're all over this stuff. We've got Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks. Even Mike, he even chimed in this week. We are connected with so many people who do their own research. They have an opinion. They actually look this shit up and they formulate something that's intelligent. And we've started saying, think critically and act accordingly. And that really is all it comes down to. If everybody just took 5 minutes and just said, you know what? I wonder if what that person said was right. Question things a little bit. I'm not saying you got to go out there and burn something down. That's not the point. The point is question things a little bit more. Be that parent. Be Jaden Rodriguez, who is not going to take the patch off of his backpack because he knows the history of it, and it matters.
No, it makes me want to get a fucking Jaden Rodriguez tattoo right on the shaft of my penis, man. Because that dude's pimp. That dude has balls. He's 12. Dude, when I was 12, I was trying not to get noticed. Like, I was doing everything in my power. Please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. I didn't want girls looking at me. I didn't want guys looking at me because I was his size. I was even smaller than him, probably. He's just a little guy. And I was tired of getting my ass kicked. So I was like, please don't look at me. And here he comes walking in big as the fucking he's bigger than climate change this week. He just walked in big as shit. Wearing his little tiny patch on his backpack. That backpack's bigger than him. And he just did his thing, man. I mean, props to you, dude. I'm serious. I need a Jaden Rodriguez tattoo somewhere.
How's that beer going for you?
Oh my God, dude. Okay. So I am not tasting the booze, but it is hitting bottom, dude.
It sounds like you're feeling it.
Oh, I'm feeling it, dude. I have been if my camera's on, people would be seeing a minor striptease in here. I've been slowly shedding layers. We had this freak thunderstorm today, so it cooled everything off. So it's beautiful. It's like 62 degrees outside. It's beautiful. I got the windows open. It's just, but I am burning up. I had a hat on. The hat's gone. I had a hoodie on. Hoodie's gone. I'm getting ready to take my fucking t-shirt off, man. I am, and I'm getting those. I mean, I know you know this, but when I drink something that's heavy in alcohol, I sometimes get blotchy on my, especially my hands, and I'm getting the blotch, man. So it is hitting me, but it's only getting more delicious. So what's cool is I bought another one. I'm not going to drink it tonight, but I can repeat this experience tomorrow. So I'm pretty fucking happy about that. How about you? How's that beer treating you?
I actually finished it.
Yeah.
And that was, wow, that was a pucker. Oof. But I'll tell you something. It got a little bit filthy at the end. Like
Filthy?
Yeah. And not in a bad way. Let me try and,
okay. So like eating ass filthy.
Yeah, like clean ass though, right?
Oh
Not
yeah,
like
of course.
Shaven.
No, it's always clean. It's always bleached. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But it earthy, really earthy, lots of earthy tones. Not gritty or anything along those lines, nothing got caught in my teeth. But
no, did it have sediment? Like, did it have a sediment to the bottom? Did something settle down there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are actually my favorite beers. Like a good beer is if you just let it sit, it defines itself by the layers that you go through with it. Like that's when you know it's a good beer. It has layers to it, like mud, like pond water. You know what I mean? The whole thing with the lotus flower is because it starts in mud and it finds its way up to the sunlight and it becomes a beautiful flower when it gets to the surface. It enlightens itself. That's why it's a Buddhist symbol. A good beer should be like that. Like you should have mud at the bottom, but then just beautifulness at the top. That's beautiful, man.
That's a really beautiful way to say it.
Thanks.
I've
taken way too many. Yeah. I'm ready for another beer and no more philosophy classes. I'm not taking any more philosophy. I'm done.
All right, let's we've got a lot of show left. Let's get in the beer.
I know we've only covered like 2 subjects. Holy shit.
All right, let's go ahead and get into beer 2, Fitz.
Hey, real quick before we do that,
what do you got?
Because I was just thinking. I don't often do this. I think people who've been following the show know that I don't often. I just kind of say what I need to say and then we move on. But I was thinking about something I just said, and I just want to redact or revise. I don't want a tattoo of that child's name on my penis. That's weird. Okay, I don't.
So
I don't
I
want
should
that.
edit that out.
No, I'm okay leaving it, but I want to recant here. And so what I do to him is that like I will be the guy making your posters for when you run for president because like that kid needs to run for president. So I was thinking, did I really say that? And I really did. So I just wanted to make sure that that's out there that I'm not actually going to do that. And I don't want that. That's a little weird.
Thanks for clarifying. That's really,
yeah. Okay.
Really,
That's
really good of you to make sure that came out right.
Yeah. All right. Good.
All right. So I have another Wanderlust beer. One of the other things that they do pretty well is their stouts.
Yeah. Very well.
And the one I have now is Dark Canyon. Dark Canyon Wilderness in Utah has canyons so narrow that they're impenetrable to sunlight for most of the day. Much like those canyons, the inky blackness, of our Imperial Stout is complex and rich experience. Flavors of roasted coffee, chocolate, and molasses settle onto the tongue, which are followed by a subtle whiskey and a wood aftertaste from the months spent in barrels. So, I got a boozy one here. I believe this
you
is
said
12.
wood.
I did. And tongue in there too.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I have a 12% Imperial Stout.
Woo, yeehaw.
I'll make sure I post the bottles from tonight, just because they are pretty cool looking bottles. But these are 500 milliliter bottles, and they're kind of beasts. So I have a Dark Canyon here, so it's not as dark as they say it is. I've seen way darker and way more viscous. It pours like a porter.
Oh, okay. Do you think if you shone a bright enough flashlight through it, it would go through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can
See
see
that. No, that last beer I had, that was
Oh.
like, I mean, you might as well be trying to shine a flashlight through, blacktop.
Oh, wow. So I love my Russian Imperials.
Yeah.
Bitter malts. Dark chocolate. Bitter coffee. It's not no booze. Oh. Mouth feels kind of weird. It like I said, it pours like a porter, so it actually the mouth feels more like a porter too. Wow. That's a real gear shift from the Flanders.
Yeah, it is. I'm shifting gears equally as hard here. I'm downshifting here. I went from fifth gear. I'm throwing it into first at probably 35 miles an hour. It's not going to be good. We might blow up. We might blow the transmission here. Yeah, that's odd for a Russian Imperial to not be darker, because Russian Imperials are kind of, as black as they get. It's kind of a black hole made into a beer.
But it tastes like an Imperial Stout, though. It really does.
All right.
It has that bitter, angry stout taste that goes along with the more the malts are bitter and angry. The coffee is bitter. Everything is just fucking angry. But there's no booze to it, and it's actually a pretty clean beer. Very unique. I have another one that I'm probably going to have tomorrow. It's actually the same one, only it has strawberry in it. It's Dark Canyon.
Oh, interesting.
Strawberry. Yeah, so I'm wondering how that's going to be, because there's a little bit more vanilla in that one. But this one, I want to see how this one's going to work out.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, what do you got over there?
Okay, well, I've got another collaboration ale here. This one is from Southern Grist, and they did a collaboration with Hopfly Brewing. I have no idea where either of those are from, because I've never seen or heard of either of those. But you will quickly understand why I had to grab this beer. This is called Melted Snow Cone Blender. This is a blackcurrant blueberry lemon cheesecake smoothie. So again,
Really?
I couldn't go further. Further away from what I started with, kind of like you. This is a cheesecake-inspired smoothie-style sour ale brewed in collaboration with Hopfly Brewing. So that's about all they tell you on there. I will tell you, it poured a beautiful blackberry purple, and it's so funny because I was just talking about how kind of a good beer has the kind of the muddy layer to it. This thing at the end, like I was pouring, and then at the end, this purple sludge just came out the bottom. And so I'm assuming this is going to be an amazing beer. At least I'm hoping. So here we go. Black currant blueberry lemon cheesecake, which, if that's an actual thing out there, I mean, I'm not a dessert person, period, but cheesecake is kind of one of those things that I'll definitely try, particularly if it has fruit in it. And this just sounds delicious. So let's see what we got here.
Trying to find where they're from.
Oh,
So far, nothing's tipping me off.
wow. Oh, that's a really interesting beer. And I say that because there's a freshness, a leafiness to this beer, like you just pulled a sprig of mint off of a little tiny mint plant and just chewed it straight up. There's a really fresh feel to this. I definitely, and I think that's the current kind of has that, black currant kind of has that fresh, earthy flavor to it. Definitely some blackberry. The lemon is on the end. This is only a 6.5%, so it's not going to be boozy at all, and it isn't boozy at all. Just a nice fresh beer. I did a really good palate cleanse before I jumped into this one, so I'm pretty sure I'm getting the full effect of everything. But yeah, really well done beer. Very, very clean. This is a. I just spent 3 hours mowing the lawn. I need a beer that's gonna be a pick me up. This is what you would go for.
Is that
it's
summer beer or a spring beer?
Yeah, it's I would say it could go either. It would be delicious in spring, probably better in summer, just because it's a little chewy. It's a little thick. So for those dog days of summer when it's just kind of wearing on you, this thing's. I'm gonna actually go out on a limb here and say this thing's probably nutritional, because it had like chunks in it. It was like a multivitamin.
So Southern Grist is actually out of Nashville.
Okay, all right, I would believe that.
Nashville's one of those places we need to go check out. I think that might be one of those bucket list things.
Okay, so I've been to Nashville. I absolutely, and I was there for 5 days, 4 of which were training. So the one day I got to actually get out and about, I was with a 73-year-old woman. So it wasn't like I got to like go see nightlife or anything, but to a couple of great barbecue restaurants. And I really like the flavor of that city. Really like it. So I would love for a Whiskey Hell weekend excursion to Nashville. I think that would be a blast. We would find a lot of trouble in that town.
Well, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Really, really neat lineup here. They've got peach cobbler beer. They've got marshmallow, citrus, mango, creamsicle hill. I don't know what's going on there. Soda parlor, raspberry, lemon. Just some really crazy.
Yeah, fresh stuff.
Neat.
Yeah.
All right, Fitz. Let's get to the really important stuff. Should we do that?
Yes, please.
Let's go.
What's
listen
important?
to. Here we go.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui that we were texting back and forth. And I read this article that Dolly Parton had given money in her community. And I said, I think this is the answer. You said, I think that's the answer.
I said, I love it.
And so we have created the People's Fund of Maui that will put money directly in the hands of the people who need it right now. So if you send a donation, just click where you see below and send a donation. That money is going to go to one of many residents who have been displaced in Maui. We guarantee.
That's right. And I know a lot of people out there, as Oprah and I have been finding, are just having a hard time trusting where the money goes. What organizations should I send money to? How can I help? In this case, the fund that we created with a lot of hard work from a lot of hardworking people who all care about these people of Maui. As Oprah was saying, it is a clean, direct from you directly to their hands, and right away with some real immediacy, because as we're finding, as you guys around the world know, with disasters like this, the number one need is money.
Is money.
In hand.
And so people being able to have their own agency, being able to make decisions for themselves about what they need and what their family needs, that's our goal, is to get that to the people now. And so we appreciate any support that you can give. All the people who were calling me and texting me and messaging me and saying, what do I do? What do I do? This is what you do.
You know.
The People's Fund of Maui.
Well, I'm inspired.
Jesus, fuck me. I have so much to say on this, but go ahead. Go. Just go.
Well, okay. You have two people who are worth, Oprah's worth at least $1 billion, right? I mean, she's way up there.
She's multi-billion. Yeah. Yeah, she's got 3 or 4, I think.
And you've got The Rock, who is
multi-million.
Millions and millions. We're hundreds of millions.
Yep.
Okay. And I think they know some people, right? I think they're well connected. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm throwing this out there, right? Maybe they could go ahead and come up with, well, I mean, we're taking out, how the government should be helping, Lenya, since they're concentrating on Ukraine, so they can't really, since this is really nice that it's coming around because our government can't handle it.
Yeah, well, FEMA's out of money. They're too busy buying cocktails and $700 a night rooms at the Four Seasons, so they're out of money.
They're completely strapped.
Yeah.
But you would think that these guys could, hit up, everybody on The View, DiCaprio. Who else? Oh, Bezos. Bezos owns half the island too, I think.
Go down the fucking line of A-listers. These two idiots know all of them and probably have all of them on text. And yet, okay, so I'll just start with the first volley here. Well, this is the first of many.
Well, Mike,
Okay,
go ahead.
Right,
go ahead. No, we're fired up. It's okay. Go.
No, I was gonna say I want your take on this. Okay, that in the beginning of the video, she says I was watching my friend Dolly Parton, and she gave to her community. So Oprah's idea, because she watched Dolly Parton, who is a beautiful human being. I don't think anybody could argue that.
No,
she's wonderful.
No, yes.
Dolly Parton gave her money to people. So Oprah's idea was, hey, we should get other people to give to these people. She didn't say, I'm going to give. She didn't say The Rock is going to give. She said, I saw someone giving and I thought we should set up a fund where other people can give. At no point did she pledge her own money. At no point. She pledged our money.
In a time
cunt.
Where inflation's going through the roof. Okay, people are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. You've got the government coming out against the people, trying to change, get rid of your cars, go out and buy an EV. We need to make sure that you're going to mask up. All of these things are coming out. And what happens? Let's go and throw a little bit more on the people.
Good.
Let's go and just send us your cash. All this reminds me, I don't know anybody out there who's listening right now, go out and go find George W. Bush during Haiti. And there,
yes,
it screams that.
Yes.
Just send us your cash. Just send. Yep. Don't send blankets. Don't send water. Don't send food. Don't send medicine. Just send us your cash.
Yep.
That's what this screams of, and it's absolutely pathetic because these two individuals alone, if they really wanted to, could take care of damn near everybody who got wiped out.
Yeah, and
just give them enough to get back on their feet for, here's a couple of months worth. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
to go ahead and here's $5 or $10 grand each. Just go fucking take care of your family.
Dude. I mean, even if you were to say, do you know how far it would have gone if, and I mean, fuck Oprah. I mean, I agree with Elle and probably all of everybody in the chat. Fuck Oprah. I've never liked her. She's always made a big deal about her own personal life, and we're all supposed to give a shit about the fact that she lost 50 pounds. Don't fucking care. But take her out of it. If The Rock had come out and was like, "Hey, I'm making this new film, and it's going to be a banger. It's Black Adam 2 or whatever the fuck. Although Black Adam was terrible, but whatever. I'm making this new film, and I'm going to donate all of the profit that I make from this movie. I'm going to donate it to the residents of Maui. I would go out and see that movie, no matter how fucking bad it was. I would go see that movie, knowing that he was pledging. That's not committing any of the millions of dollars he's already worth. That's just saying, hey, any future income from this movie, I'm going to donate to the residents because I love this island. I would have been all over it. I've been like, dude, that's actually pretty fucking rad. Good for you. And that would have cost him nothing. He would still be worth what he's worth today. But no, these two idiots come out and they make it all about them. I saw a video today of this woman is she's a marketing specialist. And she's like, I'll just synopsize her entire 3-minute video in 10 seconds. She was like, they basically did everything I tell my clients not to do. They did it all. They made it about them. They made it about their money. They made it about you sacrificing and no benefit to you. You're just sacrificing everything, and then they get to walk off into the sunset.
Yep.
She's like, they did everything wrong. Literally everything.
I guarantee you, next year they'll be fighting John Kerry for Man of the Year on Time Magazine. This is. Can we talk about this website and how shitty it is?
Oh, it's terrible. Apply now for urgent action grant.
But they also have they've got a little playlist here, so you can play some Hawaiian music
nice.
While you're on there.
That's nice. Yeah, get you into this Hawaiian feeling.
So, but do you see how old this is though? This site was not made just to go ahead and for this.
No.
This has been around for a really long time. A New Look, a New Year, October 31st, 2022.
Yeah, but they revamped it so they make it for...
Yeah. Right. Well, did they? I don't know that they did. And didn't The Rock and Oprah fucking cunt bag fucker.
Yeah.
Didn't they just say that they just made this site? Wasn't this all just put together for this?
Oh, well, that's
isn't that how they pitched it?
Yeah. That's how they pitched it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to see. I would love to see the numbers from this.
Yeah, me too.
I would like to see the I don't know what kind of what do you call it? Is it a 501c3? I mean, this is one of those things that we probably should look up before. But there's no way that any of this was put together for just for this. This is all for Hawaii.
They jumped on board of what these people were already doing and said, "Hey, we'll make sure if we donate to this organization, then they'll make sure the money gets to, as they said, to the people who are affected."
There is
no proof of that still.
There's nothing on here about the fires.
Nope. Not
nothing.
One thing on the website.
I've gone through every link. There's nothing on here about the fires.
So here's just another little fucking side dagger. There are. I don't have receipts. Okay, I have seen videos and I've read articles. Of people who claim they do have receipts, but I have not seen the receipts for any of the information I'm about to say. However, people are pissed off enough about it that I actually tend to think it's probably true, but you make up your own mind. But Oprah hired a private firefighting force of 15 men 2 weeks prior to the actual fires. She hired this private group of hotshot firefighters and had them living on her property just in case was how it was written, just in case, quote unquote. She also is now so that's why she's claiming that her land was protected, because she had these people making fire lines, and so you just happen to hire these people. They just happen to be there when the worst natural disaster ever on Maui happened. Okay, cool. That's amazing timing. She must be a time traveler. Anyway, the other part of it is that now that her land is safe, she's now hired she contracted with Blackwater, of all fucking people. She contracted with Blackwater. She has private security on her land in Maui to keep people off of her land, to keep residents who were burned out of their homes with guns. They have guns and weapons, and they're highly trained.
Well,
they're keeping people off of her land. It's Blackwater. Exactly. I don't have to say any more than that. So here she comes, makes this fucking video. Hey, you all should give your money to these people because they're hurting. And not only does she not pledge any of her own money, but she's doing things for her own investments and nothing for the people who live there. She is definitely in my top 3, maybe my top most piece of shit person to ever live. She's fucking terrible. So and if she'd have never made the video, if then we probably would just be like, hey, how come Oprah has all this land there? And then this fire breaks out. But then she has to add insult to injury, rub salt into the wound and say, hey, why don't you give us your money so we can take care of these people? God damn. If I had one hand around her throat, that's all I would need. People could be pulling me off of her. One hand is all I need.
Yeah, but you'd have to deal with Blackwater then.
I don't care. I don't care what happens to me at that point. As long as Oprah is no longer on this planet, I don't care. Jesus Christ. Remember, I used to actually think, man, what an amazing woman. You know, this black woman comes from nothing and she's now everything. She's like the biggest entertainment mogul ever.
The Oprah Book Club. You get a car. You get a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody wins and everything is great and everything is wonderful. And here I'm donating
generous
to this fund and that fund and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. She's as big a waste as anybody. And now, The Rock is even as bad.
I know. That's the part that kind of hurts me because I fucking like that guy. I liked his humbleness. I liked the fact that he was the biggest guy around but never picked the fight. I liked the fact that he made fun of himself. I liked that he and Kevin Hart could just rib on each other and it was funny and now I just look at him with pure contempt. Just pure, you're a piece of shit because you're associating with other pieces of shit. And if you hang out long enough in this shit, guess what? You start to smell like shit. And that's where he is. And I'm just really disappointed. I wish it was different, but it's not. And so I have to come to terms with it. But God, what a blow to anybody's confidence that anybody is out there to give a shit about us. Because there isn't. There's no good people left. There's none. Not politicians, not entertainers. No. We are literally on our own.
I got a good
person. Your family. You got to take care. Oh, well, okay, yeah, he's a good person. I'll give you that. But he's not a celebrity. He's a neighbor.
Well, he fucking should be. All right? He fucking should be. You found this earlier in the week.
Yeah, no, this guy rocks.
Angry Beekeeper here. It is August the 29th. And here's the deal. I am taking all the honey boxes off because, in my opinion, honey season's over. We might get a little bit more honey, but whatever they get now, we're going to let them keep for winter. But this is what I want to tell you. This is the queen excluder. The queen stays down here, and up here, the workers can only put honey. Last year, they put very, very, very little honey in the brood chamber where the queen lays the eggs, and all the honey went up top in the honey supers. This year, they did put some honey up in the honey supers, but they packed a lot of honey down in that brood chamber. Now, these bees, I believe, are counting on a pretty hard winter. When they pack that honey in close to the brood chamber, they know it's going to be so cold that they cannot climb and get that honey, so they want to have it easily accessible. I don't mean to cause anybody any anxiety by saying this, but I truly believe, and I'm talking to Gen Z here, you're going to see a winter in Canada like you have not seen in your life. And Gen Z, here in the Niagara region, you are going to see more snow days than you've ever seen in your life before. But what we're going to do between now and then, and it's October, November comes, we'll talk about getting ready. We'll have you stock up on chips and tampons and peanut butter, and everything will be fine, and we'll have a good old-fashioned Canadian winter.
Okay, thank you for finding him. I hope everybody goes out and follows this guy on TikTok.
Yeah,
I fucking love that. Thank you for finding
he's tremendous.
This.
Yeah, no, I've been following him for a while, and honestly, sometimes when I have like a little tidbit on, like, you know, upcoming weather, like how the summer's going to be or whatever, I'm getting it from him. He's just like the best kept secret out in the internet. I mean, he even gets down to like monthly. Like he'll say, okay, here's what my bees are doing. He's been doing this for like 30 years. and he'll say, okay, here's what my bees are doing. So here's what's going to mean for the upcoming month, because the bees know. They've been around for, I don't know, 300 million years. I mean, they're an ancient species. They know weather. They know climate. They know their fucking surroundings. And it's instinctual, and they're a hive mind. And so they don't get it wrong, because if they do, it's a complete collapse. And he just knows how to read his bees, and he's just tremendous. And plus, I always like that he throws in a little jab to the younger generations.
He always, yes.
Always. Yeah, he's great. So yeah, if you're not following him, do yourself a favor, go out and find him. Angry Beekeeper, he's tremendous. And he, honestly, I have not found him to be wrong once, not yet. And I've been following for about probably 18 months, but not quite 2 years, but he's on it.
Fitz, I gotta point you towards another individual,
great man,
another great man who, God, fuck Fox, seriously. I gotta point you towards another great man, man that is on Time Magazine's cover this week as the diplomat. Fitz, John Kerry knows more about the climate and global warming than the Angry Beekeeper.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how could he not? He spends so much time up in the air in his private jet.
Well,
he's seen the climate from up there.
And the special chocolate store that he has in Switzerland that he absolutely loves.
That he'll get on his private jet to go just directly there to get stuff.
What the fuck are we doing? I understand, Time Magazine is bought and paid for. I totally get that. And I get that Fox News on this story, you guys can go to show notes and check it out. I get that Fox News is pointing and they're making fun of this, right? And their whole point is that okay, he flies around in a fucking private jet and he doesn't give a shit, right? His carbon footprint is astronomical. It's astronomical, period.
Oh, yeah. It's 500 times any one of us. Yeah.
It's fucking massive. And he doesn't give a shit. And his whole legacy is, okay, so he started off, he was in Switzerland first, he went to school, and then he came back here for high school. And he claims that he's been on both sides of the ocean. He's so worldly, and he's a diplomat, and he's just knows exactly what's happening with climate. I could not be more sick to my stomach to see this motherfucker still being praised. And I know, the Time Magazine cover, it was bought and paid for. That's what happens. I get it. But we're still making a big deal out of this guy. This guy, he's the one who's the climate czar wheeling and dealing for us. I want the Angry Beekeeper to be the guy on Time. I want him to be wheeling and dealing for me. And just, let's make it as easy as just, hey, my bee said that, hey, we're going to be okay. It's going to be a little cold for the next 3 months. You guys should probably buy a little more Canadian whiskey and just tough it out.
Yeah, and get some firewood sequestered. I mean, I'm with you. There's I'll just say it. There's a tinfoil hat thing going around that when he lost the presidential bid, what was that, 2000? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
That he was kind of paid off. Okay, just acquiesce, because we got plans for you in the future. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be just fine.
And your daughter.
But you're not.
And your daughter.
Yeah, right. And your daughter. But you're not going to win this presidential. We need someone else to be president. But you're going to play an important role later. And I at this point, God, I mean, we've all seen too much stuff. I can't deny that. I can't even say that it's not plausible. It's totally plausible. And it's probably even, probable. That's probably exactly what happened. So yeah, here he is presenting himself as the climate czar, which again, another czar, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Like, why do we have all these fucking czars? But here he is, Time Magazine's man of the year, person of the year.
He's the diplomat. I mean, they haven't made him the man of the year yet. I'm sure that will happen in December.
He's in the running. Yeah, he's in the running. But and then you actually start digging deeper and find out what this guy is doing with his personal life, and the house that he has, the private jet that he flies all over the fucking place, and the list goes on and on and on. He doesn't give a shit about the environment. He doesn't give a shit about any of us. He's just out there on a tour, making money, like any author or actor on a junket. That's all he's doing. That's what he is. He's a performer.
So I want to go. I'm going to do it. Let's talk about czars. Can we do that again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, that's a great segue, because
you realize that we should not have any more beers the rest of the week until our next show, because this Biden's alcohol czar warned we should not be drinking anything more than 2 drinks a week. A week. Fitz?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know, because I'm already over my monthly quota just tonight. I mean, I've had the 2 show beers, but I also have my 2 side bitch beers, which I've got going. And then I had a beer before the show started. So what am I, 2, 3? I'm almost 3 weeks out.
So let's put this into perspective. This week, all we've heard is that Canada is really, they're warning everybody in Canada, don't travel to the U.S. because of how the U.S. feels about the LGBTQ plus XYZ community. Now, it's interesting to me here. Now, this came out on August 31st, that Dr. George Koob, Biden's alcohol czar, wants to go ahead and make America more like Canada and suggest that nobody has more than 2 drinks of alcohol a week.
Okay, now I have several questions, but before I get to my questions, can we look up how many czars we actually have? Because it seems like every week a new czar emerges. Like, I had no idea there was an alcohol czar. Like, is there a butt plug czar? Like, I want a butt plug czar or a dildo, like whatever you want to put up your ass. There should be a czar for that, and you should only put up your ass like how many times a day? I don't know. I need a czar to tell me.
As soon as Jefe comes on, we're going to talk about things you should be putting up your ass. We'll get to that. But
where's the czar, and who is this person, and how many times?
Is it an anal czar that we're looking for? Is it like a anal entry czar? Like, where are we going with that?
No, we need a penetration czar, right? Penetration for any kind of.
Okay.
So yeah.
I researched this. Okay.
Aaron in the chat just said it should be Buttigieg.
It should be.
Or booty juice, as President Biden said this week. Booty juice. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh shit. That's great. Anyway, there's so many czars. They keep coming out of nowhere. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
I have researched this though. Okay.
Okay.
You cannot find how many czars Biden has. Like, if you go out and you look at, because you can't find anything else, you can go and you can look at Wikipedia. When you look at the list of czars, you've got every president going back to fucking, I think it's like Nixon or I mean, it's way back, right? Biden says to be updated in Wikipedia. Okay.
Oh, really?
Now that's only if you look at Wikipedia. Now, if you look at other sites I use a different website now, especially when I'm on my phone. I think it's like Freedom something. I'll have to post it. Nothing else has any recollection of how many czars we have. So there's nobody's fucking tracking this shit.
It's just TBD. It's like as needed. As we need a
COVID. We need a COVID czar. Let's get him out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a Dr. Koob here. He's the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. He's the perfect alcohol czar. We've got fucking czars on climate change. Obviously, we've got John Kerry, like we were talking about.
It's part of this whole problem reaction solution. That's the paradigm that they're operating on.
Well,
problem, reaction, solution, so that they can shut us down when any problem arises. That just means more rights are going to be taken away. So that's what this is part of.
It doesn't even get to the solution. They need to put a fucking figurehead out there.
Well,
that's going to be the fucking mouthpiece.
No, this is the reaction. What I'm saying is then 2 months later, there will be a solution. And maybe this is, them starting to introduce the solution.
Right.
That, hey, you can only have, because again, not to beat a dead horse, but we're going to go back to the CBDCs. With the CBDCs in place, they're going to be able to say, hey, you've had your 2-drink maximum this week. You can't buy any more here. And then you'll go to the next bar and they'll say, no, I'm sorry. We're tracking it on your phone. You've had your 2-drink maximum. You can't drink here. I mean, that's how this works. They'll do it with gas. They'll do it with food. They'll do it with booze. They'll do it with sex. They'll do it with whatever the fuck you want to try and do to make your life better or happier or easier to cope with. And they'll limit it. They'll put controls on you. And by God, if you say the wrong thing, if you go against the government, well, then you just lost your right. I'm sorry, you just lost your right to buy gas this week. I'm sorry, you just lost your 2-drink maximum. I mean, what are strip clubs going to do? They have a 2-drink minimum.
So just kind of pull back the curtain a little bit. We have moments in this show where, so Fitz and I, we don't talk about at all what we want to talk about during the show. Right. We make this gigantic list and our Patreons know that. So if you guys are interested, go out, jump on the Patreon. So we've got this doc that's like massive. We don't know where either we don't know where the show is going to go. We don't know where the comments are going to, we don't know where the attitude's going to go. We don't know where the argument's going to go. Fitz, you just took everything that I wanted to go ahead and throw down, and you just fucking annihilated it, and we need to move on to a different subject because you just fucking killed it. Like, well, you just blew it the fuck up. That's where we're at on that. All right. So you get to go ahead and you have to choose where we're going now.
Okay. All right. Fun. Ooh, I'm rubbing my hands, literally. Can we go, let's go to the top of the cults list there. Can we go to, we're going to bury trees for the climate. Because I have some really important stats that go along with this story that completely blow up the story, and I'm not sure. Okay, first of all, well, go ahead, introduce the story, and then I have questions for you that I'm hoping you can answer for me because I am flummoxed. I don't know where to go with this.
So Bill Gates, Bill Gates, right? Who gave us one of the worst operating systems on the planet. He was opened us up to computer viruses and bullshit and fucking hassle. And he thinks he's a fucking doctor. He's one of the worst. We need to make a list of worst people on the planet. He's going to be up there.
Oprah, Bill Gates,
Bezos, Fauci, Keith Olbermann has to be on there because I fucking hate that guy too.
Oh God, yeah, fuck that fucking idiot.
Bill Gates funds scheme to chop, bury trees to fight climate change. So his whole concept is cut down 70 million acres of forest in the West and bury it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The forest trees are our air scrubbers.
Yep.
That's what their whole goal is. I mean,
that's
exactly how they thrive. That's how we thrive.
That's plant food.
That make any fucking sense.
That would be like saying, hey, there's too much oxygen, so we're going to kill, 5 billion people. And we're going to bury them. We're going to sequester the oxygen that they consume. We're going to sequester them into the earth. So best guess, and I know you, maybe you do know, I don't know, but I went and looked it up. A full-grown spruce pine tree, which is, and the reason I picked spruce is because it's pretty much prevalent all throughout the West, and that's where Bill Gates wants to do all this. So a full-grown adult spruce tree, how much carbon does it sequester in a 365-day period in a year?
Oh shit! Are we talking? Does it help me out here? We're talking like tons, probably, right?
We're talking pounds. One tree, pounds.
Fuck, I don't even know how to quantify that.
50 on average, 52 pounds a year.
Okay. That's one spruce. Okay.
That's one spruce pine tree.
Okay.
So 52 pounds of carbon out of the atmosphere every year by itself. And he wants to mow down 70 million acres. Do you know how many spruce trees are in an acre here in Oregon? In California, in Arizona, northern Arizona, where you are? It's and he thinks that's somehow Jesus Christ. I mean, if you think about you're saying, okay, my air filter isn't working, so I'm going to chop it up and bury it, and then hopefully it'll work better there.
Jefe.
Hey,
what's up?
You need to go and cut down every tree in your neighborhood and just tell the owners that you want to bury them for climate change.
I'll try to. I can make time. For
that. Good man, because you're helping Bill Gates save the planet. Is what you're doing.
Yeah. Do you know who owns the company that he's trying to charge with this?
God!
He owns the fucking. He owns Breakthrough Energy. Okay, he's the owner. Breakthrough Energy. They're the ones who are going to go ahead and do this in California. They're going to fucking level California as far as their trees go.
This
is so bizarre.
There was a study in Australia, and the study found, and now this was back in 2015, so before all of the really crazy climate change stuff started, like right before it. But they found that all the full grown, they have some pretty vast forests down there in Australia, eucalyptus, and I think they have some elm and some oak, hardwood trees, all hardwood. And they found that the amount of trees they have there compared to the number of people and the amount of traffic and the carbon footprint people are putting out, that Australia is actually a 10 million ton a year carbon sink. In other words, they're taking out 10 million tons more carbon than they put out. And yet the Australian government is going to adopt, have already pledged with Bill Gates here that they are going to cut down trees to go with his company.
Money talks.
No shit.
Thank you.
No shit. Well said. That's exactly it.
I think Jefe just named the show. He just walked in and named the show. Money talks.
That's what Jefe does.
Why else would they just go right along with that?
Right. No, you're right.
Jefe, let's just cut to the chase. We've got a new job opportunity for you. Now, you don't have to be accredited or anything along those lines, but we want to make you a sex therapist. And you're going to sleep with clients to save marriages.
Yeah, a very special sex therapist.
Yeah, that's all you're going to do. You're going to make everybody really comfortable, and then you're going to go ahead and go and say, you know what? I get that you guys are having a tough time. Husband, I want you to just watch how I do things, and then you can jump in and you can take care of her. Or you can just go ahead and do your thing, and you can go ahead. You can make some really good coin on this.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about the money.
Well,
yeah, I mean, at that point, would you really worry? I mean, as long as it's paying your bills, you're getting, laid every day. Like that's a win.
Yeah.
Well, let's go out here. Let's go out here to the sex therapist herself, Olivia Bentley.
Hi, I'm Olivia Bentley, world-class erotic professional of 15 years in the sex industry, porn star, and intimacy coach and educator for couples and men. I have a master's degree in education, and I'm also a fitness competitor and influencer. So I have combined all three talents to help you achieve the best sex of your lives. One question that I get that's very popular is what types of exercises are helpful in the bedroom. And I would have to say, hands down, for the gentleman, keeping your tummy tame, keeping that blood flow going will help prevent erectile dysfunction. Overall, yoga is fantastic to keep you limber and allow you to stretch into some unique places. Consistent exercise and healthy diet. Keeping your body fat at a healthy level. Those are some of the routine things that you can do each week to optimize your confidence and optimize the pleasures and sensations in the bedroom. Your sexual organs need to be worked. It is a use it or lose it dynamic. And ladies, you have this special, unique ability to have multiple orgasms in one event. So please, by all means, play with yourself, use toys, figure out what works and what doesn't work, figure yourself out, and use your sex organs for pleasure. Don't be ashamed.
I could not take my eyes off her lips because they were doing weird
Oh my
shit.
God. Oh, they're tremendous. I mean, they are made for a certain skill. I did not know. I'm going to be fully transparent here. I did not do my research for the show. I had no idea she was also a porn star, or at one time was a porn
she totally
star.
is. So what we're saying is,
she's gorgeous.
Okay,
she's like a fucking sex pot.
But her lips are doing weird shit in
that
video.
They're gonna do weird shit on your pee-pee, and you're gonna like it.
Oh, I thought she was blowing up balloons with those things. You're talking about blowjobs.
I'm talking about blowjobs. I'm talking about, playing with the testes, the perineum, maybe the butthole, if that's what you're into. I mean, those lips will go anywhere. I guarantee it.
Yeah. You know, it'd be a good like little reel of videos would be all the husbands out there that try to convince their wives that this is a good idea, and the ones that said fuck no. that could get physical pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Well, I would like to know the correlation between the husbands that went to this woman and she was like, yes, yes, I'll take you on as a client. And he went back to his wife and she was like, fuck you. And I want to know how many of those ended up in divorce.
Yeah.
Right? Probably 100%. If he's like, you're not willing, you want me to go to this marriage counselor, but you won't go to the sex therapist with me. Fuck you. Take half. I don't care. I'm out.
So,
well, I'm as soon as I get done cutting down the trees, I'll be good to go. You guys start lining up some clients.
Oh, dude. I mean, can you imagine being the male version of this? Like, hey, you go over there in the corner, you just sit there and you masturbate if you want to, but you watch what I do with your wife. And then you learn. You learn and you do it better.
And if you don't get it, you sign up for another session in 2 weeks.
And by the way, I have another appointment at 2, so let's get this done. Come on, I have to recover.
I gotta go.
Dude, you'd have a car full of Gatorade and fucking Viagra.
Oh my God.
Just to recover.
And they're pounding his wife. Are you watching? Are you watching this?
Look at me! You look me in the eyes, you son of a bitch!
Okay. Now you get in here and you try. No, you're doing it wrong. Get out of the way. I'll finish.
Here's the deal. I'm tired. You finish her off. I'm out.
I'm bored. I gotta
go. Your wife's ugly.
Here's what you do. You say cardamom a bunch of times and put your face in her cunt. Go.
God.
Taking a smoke break.
Oh, hey, shout out to everybody who's putting weird shit in their ass. Stop that. Can you guys seriously, if it's gonna get lost in your ass, don't put it in there,
dude.
You've got toys, you've got all kinds of stuff that's meant to go in there. stuff that's not going to get get sucked up in there. Party poopers, hospitalizations for foreign objects and rectums are on the rise. You've got COVID to worry about. We've got climate change. There's racism. The Gadsden flag is crazy. Fucking don't stick weird shit in your ass and complicate things. Stop that.
So the stat that I heard on this was weird or foreign objects. I'll use their verbiage. Foreign objects stuck in an anus is like number 9 of the top 10 reasons that people come into the ER. Now, let's take out the top 3, which we know, car accidents, gunshot wounds, and heart attacks. Okay, so those are obvious. Those are gone. So now we're in the top 6 of just random shit that happens. So then you figure industrial accidents, power tools, stuff like that. That's gone. So now we're in the
tools?
top. Well, yeah, table saws. No, I'm saying things that cause injury that would make you go to the ER.
I got you. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you're in the top 5 of things that people are doing voluntarily. All the other stuff I said was accidents and just weird shit. This is now voluntary. And you've done something to put yourself in a situation that you can't get out of yourself. You have to go to the ER. And sticking things in your anus is number 5.
Well, the 7 times that it happened to me, those were all accidents.
So you just randomly sat down on things? Is that what, naked?
Like El just said, I fell on it. I tripped.
Yeah.
It's you got caught cheating. I just tripped and I stuck my dick in her. It just happened. I can't control it. I fell on the vacuum cleaner. I don't know why it's on my dick. That's what I'm.
So walk me through this. All right, walk me through this. Both of you can help with this. So the first time, you're masturbating. Maybe you're with your partner, and you decide, I'm gonna stick my own finger up my ass and just see, what's all the hype about, right? And you're like,
what's
that
the
good,
hubbub?
Yeah, that felt good. But then how do you go from my finger in my butt feels good to I bet if I unscrew that light bulb and shove that up my ass, that's going to feel better. How does that leap happen? How do you make that jump?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But it does.
It does more than you would think, because it's on the ER's top 10 list of reasons people admit themselves to the ER. And it's not even number 10.
I gotta go.
All right, dude.
All right, Jefe.
Have a good night, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, see you.
Later.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. What the
Jefe,
hell, man?
Or Fitz, what beer are you taking to bed?
Oh, I mean, honorable mention to the Southern Grist Hopfly collaboration. I did enjoy the melted snow cone concept, and I think again it's a great beer for you're hot, you're tired, you need something to quench your thirst. Really, it is a thirst quencher. But the Boss Rambler, my first beer, the 15.5%, which goddamn, that's a big beer.
That's a beast.
But holy cow, the amount of cardamom. And again, I'm not just doing that for the ladies.
Cardamom.
I'm just saying cardamom.
Cardamom.
I'm just saying
cardamom.
The cardamom is actually having an effect on my libido. I'm just gonna say,
is this a boner? Is a boner beer? Boner beer? Are you calling it boner
horny.
beer?
I'm horny. I'm horny as fuck. Yeah, I am. I'm. It's one of those beers that makes you just want to reach out to people that you shouldn't be reaching out to, like drunk texting, and just being like, "Hey, I'm going to do this to you," even though we're thousands of miles apart or whatever.
Hey, I'm going to put this light bulb in my ass. Are you interested?
Yeah. Are you game? You want to help?
Are you down?
it's that kind of beer. So obviously I'm taking that one to bed because I just feel like it would just be a collaborative experience because anybody else who had this beer would also want to stick things up my butt. And so I think it's a win-win. Anyway, what beer are you taking to bed?
Oh my God. I'm taking the Flanders. I'm taking the
nice
De La Terra 2.0. And here's, it was so different. It was so different. It was, and maybe that's actually my problem because that's not a style that I search out. I mean, I'm all about imperial stouts, but that wasn't an amazing imperial stout. For me, that red Flanders was fun, and that's what this is all about, right? I mean, it was fun. So I'm taking that. Make sure you guys look at the Twitter, and I'll save some stuff for the Patreon too. That's gonna be special. That's actually gonna be all about Wanderlust.
They're such a great,
fantastic little brewery.
So great. Yeah, I miss them a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really happy about because this January I will have been here in Oregon for 9 years. I've almost been here a decade, man.
Wow.
But you and I and my wife, we all took that trip to Wanderlust, and just God, what a great day. I only have fond memories of that brewery. Every time I've been there, it was just a great time. And just to go back to the beginning of the show, that brewery, I love, they do a cherry pie stout or a porter, and it's phenomenal. They make really good beers, but yes, when you go to the actual brewery, the lack of teeth in and around that area is disturbing. And so I always got my beer to go from there. So I definitely can back that up from what you said. That hasn't changed in 10 years that I've been there. So
yep, no, I agree. All right. Well, as always, we appreciate you guys listening. This is why we do the show. I mean, we get to vent, but knowing that there's like minds out there that want to vent too, and really care about stuff and do the research and have opinions, we want to make sure that we give you guys the outlet. So thank you so much for that. If you're new, at whiskey_hell is going to be the Twitter or X or whatever the fuck we're calling it at this point.
Yeah.
whiskeyhellpod.com is going to be the website. So you guys can download us everywhere. So don't sweat that piece. If you don't like Spotify, download us on Apple. We love you guys. This has been a blast. Thank you to everybody who came into the chat tonight. Aaron, L. I know Calliope was going to jump in here too, but I don't think she was able to make it.
No, she didn't make it tonight. But Grace Taproom, thank you guys for showing up for a bit. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to see the Wiccan / Celtic, shindig. Ceremony, whatever. I understand why you guys want to make that private because you guys are fucking like powerful wizards and shit. But next time, if we could have that live on the show, that'd be awesome. Like maybe we could all crescendo together. Like, I don't want to say climax, but I'm gonna say, we could like get to one topics right when you guys are casting a dragon, and that would just be we would just all have a lot of.
I'm gonna try and
ejaculate.
So I'm traveling again, so I'm going to try and crescendo later.
Okay.
All right. And I might do it out. I might do it out in the forest. So I'll let you guys know.
Just take pictures. A, take pictures, and B, document anything that grows from your
crescendoing.
Your crescendo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that spawns.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love you guys.
We'll talk to you soon.